Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Geeks on Tour. Jim and Chris Gould, the geeks who teach, and we'll be talking today on What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with the Geeks on Tour, and here is Chris.
Hi everybody. And in case you don't know us, yes, I am Chris Gould, and that was my husband Jim, you heard talking there. We have been computer geeks since the early 80s, teaching and being network administrators and all that stuff. We call ourselves Geeks on Tour because we now travel in an RV. We live in an RV, have been for 11 years, and we travel the country. So yeah, where are we, Jim? I don't know. You've been doing the driving.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, let's see where we are. I thought that was on this screen here.
We're headed there. Isn't that there?
There we go. This is where we've been, though. So we're headed to Washington, and this is where we've been since last week. We were in Salt Lake City or nearby, and now we're up here in the Columbia Sun RV Resort. We stopped in Boise for a little bit, and we stopped at the Cold Springs Winery, too. I forget why we did that. You remember this?
I don't remember much about it either. It's good wine. It's part of Harvest Hosts, too. That's a cool thing for RVers to do. And we also have a guest with us today. I'll let, that's Judy McDowell, that we know from Quad Cities Computer Society. So say hi, Judy, and how did you get into doing these hangouts and knowing us?
Yes, hi, my name's Judy McDowell, like she said, and well, Chris and Jim knew that I was interested in learning more about Hangouts on Air, so they invited me to come in today, and I'm going to watch the event page, so if you have questions, type them in, and I will transmit them to Chris and Jim to answer. And so hopefully we'll have a good session today.
Okay, that sounds great.
And as I say, Judy is president of the Quad Cities Computer Society, which is in Moline, Illinois, or do you say Davenport, Iowa, Judy?
Well, we meet in Moline, Illinois. I guess our official address is Bettendorf or something. I'm not sure what our address is, because we do cover both sides of the river. We're so close to Iowa and Illinois with the Mississippi River that
well, I guess that's why they call it Quad Cities.
That's right.
And we've been through there and done some seminars for their group and gotten to know them well, especially Vicki Wazenhove. I hope that she's watching today too, and we thank Judy for joining us. If you were watching last week, you know why we need somebody like Judy, because we yacked on for 13 minutes last week before we knew that people couldn't hear us. So we've decided from that, we learned something with each session here, we decided from that we would have a third person in each one. So thank you, Judy.
Okay, and we're going to try and be organized about the show and keep it to about a half an hour. Chris will start at the beginning with something that's important for beginners to know about their phones, and we'll show both Android and iPads in this segment. And then she'll go on to something about her Samsung Galaxy S5, something new that she's learned. So many people have that same phone, so we can all learn together. And then I'll do the app of the week. I'll do a random tip, and I'll be putting things in there. And then we'll get to your questions, and hopefully you'll have some questions. If not, we'll make something up. We will record this show and make it available for viewing later on YouTube.
And I guess we should say that our website is geeksontour.com, and we have started a new page there, geeksontour.com/weekly show, where you'll be able to see all the archives and the upcoming events.
Okay, a couple of things, news are from around the industry. Before we get into the main part of it, I just wanted to talk about the Streets and Trips. The PC program has been discontinued, and we're looking at some other programs out there it's not going away. It's the program that's on your computer, but they're not going to release any new updates or anything new for it. So that's kind of sad.
Yeah, we are very sad about that. Streets and Trips has always been the best way to plan your whole summer's travels, to plan a big trip. We are looking at Good Sam's new trip planner, something called Road Trippers, and we've been playing a little bit with something called RV Trip Wizard too. They don't do navigation. Copilot Live is what we're looking at on, anyway, those three. Four. And if anybody wants to suggest something else, we'd love to hear about it. Streets and Trips will be going away.
Right. The other thing that's going away and was in the news is iPhoto for you and you Mac people. iPhoto is changing, or the iPhoto piece is being discontinued. So we're going to have some information about migrating your stuff from iPhoto over to Picasa. Right, Chris?
Yep. Of course, Apple will provide a migration path to their new system just called Photos for OS X. But if you got to change, maybe you'd want to change to Picasa, and that's what we know and know how to teach. Okay. Are we ready to learn something about managing home screens?
Yeah. Okay. Then you want to unmute the...
Yep.
And then we'll try and get on to that now.
So what I always will start with the iPad. You know, we want to show a little bit about both iDevices, Apple, and Android devices. And the Apple's seems to be a bit simpler, so I'll start with that. You can see that okay?
It looks good.
All right. So what I'm talking about, I mean, does anybody have as many screens full of apps as I do? I'll bet you some people out there have a lot more, actually. So if you're looking for something, you can just go absolutely bug-eyed. I'll swear that Runkeeper is not here because...
I saw it.
Yeah? Okay. Well, I'm tired of looking. So here is my favorite feature on Apple devices, and that is, it's called Spotlight Search. Now, if you had an Apple device about a year ago, you may have run into Spotlight Search by accident, because if you went all the way to the left and then went one more, that was the Spotlight Search. It's not there anymore. What you do is you just drag down from the middle of the screen, not from the top of the screen, because that gets you notifications, but from anywhere below the top of the screen, drag down, and that opens up Search iPad. Notice that is not searching the internet, that is searching iPad. So I can type run, and there's Runkeeper. So I don't have to know which of my home screens it's on. But notice it also picks up mail that has the word run in it. Or if I did want to search the web, it's there. But I think that is just so very, very handy. But let's say that I want Runkeeper to be on my very front screen. I don't want to have to hunt for it or use the search. So now I do need to find it. In order to move an app, move an icon to the home screen, you do need to find it on your screen. Touch and hold, and they all start wiggling. But notice that the one that I touched and hold is now attached to my finger. And I can move it anywhere I want on this screen, or if I hold it up against the left-hand side, all the screens will move over until I get to the first one, and I can drop it off. Now, how do you stop all that wiggling? You just press the home button, and that stops the wiggling.
So always remember the home button.
Home button. We did that in our first episode. Okay. Now what if there is something here that I just don't use at all anymore? Well, GoPro. GoPro, this is a way to show your GoPro camera on the screen. It's pretty cool, but Jim does that on his phone now. So I really don't need this. I can touch and hold. They all start wiggling. They get an X. If you tap the X, then it says, you can see that okay?
Yep,
Delete
the
GoPro. It will also delete all of its data. Now, if I tap on delete, I'm not going to because I might still want to use this, then on the iDevices, that app is gone. That is like uninstalling, because what you see is what you get. These are not shortcuts. These are the actual app. So if I delete that, it's gone. I'm going to press the X again. And the last thing I want to show you is making a folder. So that is a way to organize into a group. So let's say I want to make a travel folder out of, now I got this set up before I, you know something, I think oh no, this screen here, this coverage app, this is pretty cool actually. That's by our friends Technomatia, and it will show you Verizon coverage, AT&T coverage, and where they overlap. All right, so we use that as we travel. We also use the History Here app as we travel. We also use the Passport America app and the Waze app. So I want to put them together in a folder. Once again, the key is to touch and hold, also known as long press. So I can touch and hold Passport America, drag it over on top of coverage, and let go. Now a grouping has been created. It's automatically called travel. If you want to call it something else, you know, geek travel. All I did was tap the little X and it erased what was there. Okay, and done. And back to the home screen. Now I have this icon, which is Geek Travel and has those things in it. I want to put history in it. Touch and hold, drag on top, drop it off. Waze, touch and hold, drag on top, and it's there. Now, if I should change my mind and say, you know, history here doesn't belong in travel, we might look up history anywhere, I can touch it, touch and hold, and drag it out. Okay, so that's what I want to show you on the iPad. Search is awesome, and then you can delete or move or group apps together. If you have any questions on that, please write a comment below this event on your screen. Now I want to go to an Android. This is my old phone. It is an Motorola Droid Razr. And first, I want to show you, see how nice and organized this is? There's all my travel apps.
Bring it down just a little bit, Chris. There you go.
Okay. There's my social apps, my Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all together. And there's my fitness apps, my Runkeeper FitScale. That is so nice. I'd spent some work thinking about what I wanted and putting them together into groups. I have not yet done that with my new phone, so when I switch over to showing you that, you'll see a mess. But this works pretty much the same way as far as making folders. If I wanted browser and Hangouts to be together, I tap and hold, drag one on top of the other, and now they're together. Actually very similar to the iPad. And if there's something I want to get rid of, so let's say I do not want Tesla LED on this screen, tap and hold, and notice, can you see there's something called remove appears up at the top?
Right.
I drag up there, it turns red, I let go. But unlike the iPad, I have not removed that app. I can, on all Android devices, you have this All Apps section. And if I remember the name of that, Tesla, right? This is pretty much alphabetical. And there's Tesla LED. I can launch it from here, or I can touch and hold and put it back on that home screen. Okay. There was one thing I forgot to show you on the iPad.
Oh, that never happens. Only one thing?
So what? Can I ask y'all to switch gears again? I know that's we show a lot of stuff here, but this is something that I'll bet you might want to do, and that is alphabetize them. You know, I remembered it
yeah.
by the
Everybody wants
fact
to know how to do that.
by the fact that on the Android devices, your all apps are for the most part always in alphabetical order. There are exceptions, and we taught that on our first episode, how to alphabetize on the new Samsung S5. But how do you do it on the iPad? Well, it's kind of scary, but it works just fine. If you go to Settings and General, and all the way down at the bottom, Reset. Now, I am not going to reset all settings, or certainly not going to erase the content, but notice there is a Reset Home Screen Layout and Reset. And like I say, that's kind of scary, but I will show you here. This ABM was on the very last screen. Now it's alphabetical, and there's coverage on the first screen. Notice that my folders are gone. This has reset to factory defaults and alphabetical for the rest of it. So I think that's a pretty cool tip.
That is a great tip, yeah. Makes it so much easier to find things. I still like the search.
Yeah, the search is the best. You just drag down, type what you're looking, or just start typing what you're looking for, and there it is. Okay, so I think I am done with the Apple device now. And I'm going to go to the last one, which is my Samsung S5. And annoyingly, I cannot use the fingerprint unlock or any other kind of unlock. I have to do that code because of another app that I'm using on this called Foxfi. Okay, so what do I want to show on here? First of all, the same things. Touch and hold. If I don't want it on that screen, a trash can has appeared in the top. Remove. I want it back. I go to the All Apps, find that, and these are now alphabetical. Find it, touch and hold, and drop it. I want it on the first screen. There, that one. Okay. So touch and hold or long press is very, very key. Creating a folder is slightly different on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Remember, in both the iPad and on the Droid Razr, I could just drag one icon on top of another. This one doesn't let me do that. So how do I make a folder? Well, you touch and hold, and notice up at the top, right next to remove, there is create folder. And it doesn't assume anything. So I will call this notes. And let's see what else I want to put in notes. Now I tap on plus, and here's where this gets pretty cool. I can just select several different apps, and when I'm done, everything that I have selected is now in that folder. So that's the Galaxy S5. I don't know what other systems. Now, one thing I show you, what if you say, well, I don't have an iPad, I don't have a Galaxy S5, and I don't have a Droid Razr, the three that you showed, and mine doesn't work that same way. What do? Well, I think you need to just Google. So can you go back to my face, Jim? Go back to me. Okay. And then I want to share my screen. So somebody, wrote a comment last week, I think, saying they have a Droid Bionic. So it's an Android phone, and maybe I'm not sure if folders work the same way. So just go to Google and type create folder. I've already tried this on Droid Bionic. And Google said search, and you will find your answer. Add folders to home screen, Droid Bionic. And click on that and read your instructions. So hopefully you will learn things in our webinars here, even if you don't have the same phone. Maybe you didn't know that there was such a thing as making folders, and you can always look up how to do it on your exact device.
Cool.
All right.
I like that.
Yeah, one more thing I want to show you on my Samsung in this still beginning home section, and then I'll turn it over to Jim to show you an app of the week. So we're back to my phone, and I said my favorite feature on the iPad was that search. Well, what if, same thing, what if on my phone here I can't find Runkeeper? Well, the Android does not have that same search that the iPad does, but did you know that the Google search widget, and I'll talk about widgets in a second, does do the same thing? I can type run, and look, there's Runkeeper. So it is not just a web search, although web searches are there. But notice it says search phone, so I can tap Runkeeper. So where did I do that? That was from this Google widget. Now, what if you don't have that Google widget? Well, let me show you. If I tap and hold, I can remove it. Now, how do I get it back? Widgets, on some Android devices, you will see two tabs up here. On your All Apps, you'll see Apps and Widgets. The Samsung Galaxy S5 doesn't show widgets along with the apps, but if you touch and hold on a blank area on a home screen, there is where you get widgets. And I can go find that Google search widget, hopefully. I need to search for Google search. All right, did anybody else see it? I know it's here somewhere.
That's why she does this.
Google search, there we go, right there.
There you go.
And put it back. Okay, so that is finding things on your phone and organizing your home screens. So now I'm going to walk our tablet over to Jim so that he can show you the
app of the week.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my app of the week, and this week it is going to be, what does this button do? Okay, my app of the week is going to be Carr, Matey, and that is really a cool app that I think everybody should have, and you can get it for the iPad, you can get it for your iPhone, and this is a screenshot right here of the iTunes screenshot of what the app looks like. So let me come back here. Do that. And I'm unmute. There it is. There we go. Still not seeing it.
There, it is now.
Okay. There we go. Carr, Matey.
R.
R. So it's
You got to have some fun too, you know? There's lots
yeah.
of ways to mark where you left your car, but this one has some fun.
Right. And the cool thing about CarMatey is it is a way to find your car when you've left it. And as an RVer, we're in different places all the time, and we need to drop anchor. So basically, it's a mapping device where you load this app. It's free for the Android and the iPhone. And what it'll do is when you're in a place, you can just drop anchor. And then go to your store, go to your laundromat, go to wherever you are, and you can find your way back. It is just such a cool device, and you can find your vessel using the map view or a compass view. If you're on a road, then the map view is the right way to do it. If you're boondocking out in the BLM land, then the compass is the way to find your way back to your rig. So those are the things that CarMatey will do for you. The cool thing about it is, where did I go? Okay. I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do that. Okay. So these are some pictures from my Galaxy Note 3, and it'll show you how it actually works. The screenshots there. You can set a docking timer if you're going to be parked, so your parking meter doesn't run out of quarters. You can have it give you an alarm, so you'll go back to it. And so CarMatey, that's my app of the week. I think everybody should have it. And if you don't, you need to get it. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Judy, how are we doing there? Are there any questions?
Well, we've had a couple of comments. At the very beginning, Jean Biggs said that she couldn't seem to get into the episode, but it just kept bringing her back to the page. I don't know what that situation was.
Yeah, that's a problem that we found in a lot of these, to get back into it and to have the link handy. And I try and put it out there a few times so you can find it, but it doesn't always work that way, and I really wish it would.
Right.
You should always be able to go to geeksontour.com/weekly show and see a link there. And other thing that people need to know, once you get to the event, you still, if you see a play, you know, that triangle that means play, if you see that, you have to click on that to make it go.
Right.
Okay.
Paul Goldberg originally said when you first started that your camera was less clear than the others. I think that was just reflections that...
Now, is that for Chris, or was that for...
Yes, for Chris.
Okay, well, let me put my bandwidth back up. I mean, that's what we were playing with on our test. Realize that we're doing this from our RV. I mean, I appreciate that comment. You know, that's stuff we need to know. It would be nice if it was as clear as possible. And I have two devices that I'm using, a Mac and a Samsung Galaxy tablet. So I want separate internet connections. I put one on the park's Wi-Fi and the other one on my cell phone's hotspot. So, you know, we will not ever have the best bandwidth, but hopefully it'll be good enough. It looks pretty clear to me. I did just up my bandwidth usage there. I'm wondering if anybody notices that my face is clearer.
I noticed it as soon as you put it up there, yeah.
Okay.
My one thought when you go back and watch the recorded video, you might want to glance at the wallpaper that you use on your iPad. Perhaps a better wallpaper?
I've thought on mine or on
Yes,
Jim's?
I think that was on the iPad at the beginning.
On the iPad, the little starry thing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it looked like little water drops on it or something.
Ah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so maybe a different
I have
wallpaper.
thought of that. We should make it as simple a background as possible. And
Yeah.
actually changing the background, if anybody wants, we don't have time to show that today. I still have one more tip that I want to show on the Galaxy S5. So back to me, Jim, and the demo there and my phone.
Okay, I got your phone. Looks good.
We have done some cool stuff in the last couple weeks, and I have taken almost all of the pictures using this phone. It is amazing. So, but I learned something this last week that's just slightly distressing. Does anybody else like to have their pictures geotagged? In my Picasa tip of the week this week, that's at picasageeks.com, I taught how to see your pictures on a map. Okay, so let me show you on this phone. If I go to my camera and then look at a picture, now look at a better picture. There we go. That one was.
That doesn't have me in it. How could it be a good picture?
And if I then.
Chris, I'm not seeing your picture.
Okay, you're not seeing the phone?
No.
Well, okay. Do you have one of the pictures pinned? Pin Jim Chris, and you'll see it. Judy?
Oh, okay. I was on
I think they're all seeing
wrong
it.
screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Chris.
If I tap on the little menu for the picture and tap on more info, it gives me a map of where that picture was taken. Now, how did it do that? It did that because there's a setting. So here on the camera, if I tap on settings and scroll up, there's more settings than you see when you first go in there. Notice that location tags is on. Okay, great. I knew that, and that's how it works with most all phones. But if you, for some reason, and there's lots of reasons to do this, if you, for some reason, turn off your GPS, turn off your location services, now, when I go to camera and settings, what do you think? That location tagging will, of necessity, be off. And that also makes sense. What I learned this week that bothers me is when I go and turn that GPS back on, when I turn location services back on, and agree, and agree,
And agree.
and agree. Now when I go back into camera and go to settings, the location tags has not been turned back on. So the lesson to learn is if you like location tagging, which I do, then you need to check often and make sure that it's on. And other than that, the camera on this phone is amazing.
All right, you're rambling again.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Well, did you learn something? I hope you did, because I know I did.
We always do.
Okay, some questions here. If you delete an app from your home screen on an Android device, have you uninstalled the app, yes or no?
And the answer is no. It's still in your all apps. On Android home screens, those are just shortcuts.
Okay. To save space on your home screen, can you put multiple apps?
Wait, you missed one.
I'm sorry. How about the Apple device? If you delete it from your home screen, does it uninstall, yes or no?
Yes, it is gone from your device if you delete it from an iDevice.
Sorry about that. To save space on your home screen, you can put multiple apps into one blank.
Now, I would call it a group, but I think most all the documentation calls them folders.
Yeah, I think they do. If you want to see your pictures in place on a map, you need to do what?
Turn on location tags in your camera settings, or it might be called geotags.
Okay. And a fun app that will remind you where you parked your car is named
Carr,
Matey. Okay, to become a member of Geeks on Tour and to learn more, you can always go to geeksontour.com and look for tutorial videos. All right.
So, Judy, I know you had one question earlier about removing unwanted apps from the phone. Did we get that answered? Did she hear me?
Are you there,
Yes.
Judy? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. That did answer my question about when I remove it from the home screen, I'm just removing it shortcut, so I have to go to all apps to remove the actual app.
Yes, and that will be slightly different on different Android phones. Almost all of them, you can uninstall apps by going into your settings. If you go to settings, you will see something called Application Manager. And if you find an app in there, one of the options will be to uninstall.
Okay.
Although some of them also, if you delete it from the all apps, then that removes it as well.
Okay. I think I can figure that out.
Okay.
Okay. After we talked about your sound or your picture not being very clear, Paul Goldberg came back and said he understood and now it was clearer. And
Okay.
Tom Van de Bushy said it was better. And Vicky Wassenholm just chimed in and said that it was everything was good, sound was excellent, and so she thought everything was good.
Cool. I think we've come up with the right thing. Even though we are within almost touching distance of us each other in this RV, I think it is best for me to be in my office at my computer with a headset and Jim to be in his with a headset. Although since this is wireless, I can still come over here so that we can be together to say goodbye. There we go.
Yes, we can be together to say goodbye. I have to make sure that we stay here. So when you talk, it goes over to the other camera.
Oh, right.
That's not a problem normally. Okay, so that's about all we have time for today, and we're going to let it go. That's this week for What Does This Button Do?
And next week, the beginning topic is going to be setting up email accounts. I'm scared of that. There's a lot of complexity and everybody is different, but we've talked to enough people who don't like the way theirs is set up that I think we should at least just show you how we set ours up, and that's what we're going to do. Email. So, hey Jim, hey, what does this button do?
Don't do anything there.